Alrighty. Hello YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, I'm gonna do another book haul. Before I get into it, just real quick, life has gotten kind of real, and so I haven't been making that much content. I have a lot of other things going on. I'll be okay. I just gotta buckle down and commit to the decisions that I know I need to make. But yeah, with that being said, let me just jump into this book haul, okay? I got some really cool stuff. Um, so real quick, I found this book by Margaret Peterson Haddix, and I have so many books that I'm not gonna read the summary on back for all of them. I'll just do the ones that I think you guys might find interesting. And this book is called Double Identity, and Margaret Peterson Haddix. I don't think that she's quite as vintage in this space, but it seems like she's pretty well renowned, and I do enjoy a psycho thriller, and this seems like that will satisfy that craving that I have for psycho thrillers. And this one is called Double Identity, and it just looked pretty good, so I went ahead and picked it up. Um, I also picked up a few other things. Before I jump into like middle grade and vintage young adult horror and R.L. Stein and a lot of the things that you come to my channel for, let me just show you some other things that I picked up. I picked up this book, which I used to own a copy of, and then I got rid of, and I can't remember why, but this isn't something that I would ordinarily choose to read. It's a fantasy book, and that's why I wouldn't ordinarily choose to read it. If I don't read horror or vampires, as far as fiction are concerned, I want to read psycho thriller, which is fairly adjacent to horror. I don't really do fantasy. I read Eyes of the Dragon and The Hobbit, and I think I'm good on fantasy. Well, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. But anyway, this one is called Dhampir, and this sounds like I'd probably like it if I would just read it. And I did own a copy of this like 15 years ago or something like that, and then I got rid of it. And it says part vampire, part human, perfect hunter. And the author is Barb and J.C. Hendy. And it says that it's a mix of Lord of the Rings and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, I'm a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, and part human, part vampire. Okay, that sounds like Blade. Okay, I love Blade. And, it's got a good looking cover. It's got this, like, vampirous goth chick, and this, like, elven dude, and this, like, dog or wolf or something. And they're, like, in a snowy forest. And then it looks like there's a sequel with the same cast of characters and I think the same dog on the cover. I never had this one. This is called Sister of the Dead, which I guess is the sequel, but I found these at a thrift store and I went ahead and picked them up. Okay. Then I found this book and it's called Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. And I guess this is the author of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I have not read, nor did I even know was a book. But they did have the movie on Netflix for a long time, and I kept telling myself that I should watch it, but I never got around to watching it because I just didn't. But I wanted to because I think it had Selena Gomez, and I'm a huge. I had a crush on Selena Gomez for the longest. She is hot. I also enjoyed like her music a lot. I liked her when she was with The Scene, and I mean I only know like maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 of her songs, but the songs that I do know I really like. But I don't think that that has anything to do with this book. This book is called Imaginary Friend, and the Washington Post says that it's original and surprising, and it's an all-out, not for the faint-hearted horror novel. Now that's pretty thick, and the font is pretty tiny. But I feel like it's also kind of double spaced and stuff, so it might not be that long. Eh. But it just felt like, I should pick it up and take it home, and so I did. There's another endorsement on the back that says it's an epic work of horror on par with Stephen King's The Stand or Justin Cronin's The Passage trilogy. And I was like, wow, with an endorsement like that, I probably should just take it home. So I did. Okay. All right. Then I found this book. Okay. Let me grab it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I read this book over a decade ago. It's called The Canary Trainer by Nicholas Meyer. And this is a Sherlock Holmes novel, and obviously it wasn't written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's basically fan fiction, and I really enjoyed it. It's where during the time that Sherlock Holmes faked his death, he ended up in Paris, and he ended up getting caught up in the Phantom of the Opera. The novel, apparently Sherlock Holmes was there, and he was a part of it. And I thought it was really dope. Okay, I really enjoyed it. I've heard other people say that they didn't enjoy it, but I did. I really enjoyed the Easter eggs and stuff. I really enjoyed the illusion that he might have went off and had a secret rendezvous with Irene Adler. It wasn't explicitly stated. It was just kind of an illusion, a hint. In my heart, I believe that that's exactly what happened, though. And this is the paperback copy that I read. Well, I found a hardback copy, and it's like in really great condition with a great dust jacket and, good healthy spine. And I hate to be a cover chaser, but I just couldn't leave it at the thrift store. I just couldn't. So I went ahead and picked that up. Let's see what else. Okay, I found this. This is Clive Barker's The Damnation Game. Now, I have still yet to read any Clive Barker, but my Clive Barker book collection is coming along very well. I have a good number of his books, and if anyone would like to recommend one that I should start with, please tell me in the comment section below. This is The Damnation Game. This is actually a book club edition. The dust jacket's a little rough around the edges, but it's actually in pretty good condition. The spine is like really healthy and holding up. And this book is from 1985. Like I said, I haven't read any Clive Barker, but I have seen some movies. Like I've seen like a couple of the Hellraisers. I saw Lord of Illusions, which was really good. And I saw Quicksilver Highway, which was a collaboration between Barker and Stephen King. And I remember enjoying it. It was bizarre, but I remember enjoying it. I found this book, and it's called The Club by Ellery Lloyd. And it just looked good to me. I'm not going to read the summary or anything like that. But it did look good, and I do hope I can get around to reading it. I found a couple of James Patterson novels that I've already read. I read this one. It's called You've Been Warned. And I absolutely hated the ending. I absolutely hated it. But I do think it was a very well told story. And it's been at least a decade. It's been at least 10 years since I've read this book. And I still remember it. And I still think about it from time to time because I really did enjoy this story. I just wish it would have had a better ending. I should do a book review of this. And then I picked up this book. This is James Patterson's Sail, and I absolutely loved this book. Again, it's been over a decade since I've read it, but this book solidified my status as a James Patterson fan. If I'm gonna read fiction, I want to read vampires. I want to read horror, and I didn't even know that I liked psycho thriller all that much until I started reading James Patterson. I ended up getting a copy of this book for free, and it just compelled me. I just said, you know what, I'll give it a chance. I read it, and I really fell in love with the James Patterson's signature short chapters. The fact that all of his chapters are only 2 to 4 pages, so you can always find a good stopping point. And all of his books are really fast paced, so he doesn't spend a lot of time dwelling on the details. It's just really fast paced action. You can always find a stopping point. And I devoured this book and I really loved the story. And I still remember it pretty vividly to this day. And I ended up getting rid of my copy. I think I gave it away to someone else. I think I passed it on. But I want this for the collection. Okay, I want to have it on my shelf. So I picked it up. All right, and we're almost there. We're getting to some of the vintage young adult stuff and the middle grade stuff and the things that you come to my channel to watch. But real quick, I think that the first adult novel that I want to read of the year is going to be this. It's called Witchcraft by Bill Michaels. Look at that cover. Okay, it's not the greatest cover I've ever seen, but you know, it's got enough there to intrigue you, or at least intrigue me and compel me. Okay, so you have a stormy sky, you have lightning in the background, and you have an attractive woman with her long, luscious hair flowing in the wind. But look at her eyes. They're evil, they're glowing green. She's like probably possessed or something. All right, so the book is called Witchcraft. The author is Bill Michaels. This is a zebra horror book. Uh, this is from 1997. The tagline on the front reads, "The hour of evil is upon us." And let's go ahead and read the summary on back, so you can see why this is going to be the first adult book of the year that I read. All right, Black Witch, queen of the coven of the dark dream, Lady Ava rules from the caverns of a small mountain town in California, seducing her followers into committing unspeakable acts of murder and human sacrifice. And with the blood of each innocent victim, her powers grow. But now there is something she needs, something she can only get from the offspring of a white witch. White Witch, descended from a line of white witches and a member of the Coven of the Crystal Moon, Molly Daniels is also the mother of 11-year-old Daphne. When Daphne is taken, Molly discovers what true terror is. Witchcraft. Soon Ava's blood cycle will be complete, and the hellfires of damnation will consume the earth. Only one woman can stop it. Okay, that sounds pretty dope to me. Okay, so yeah, I do look forward to reading that one. And before I get into like the vintage stuff, let me show you a few other things I picked up. So I picked up this one. This isn't vintage, but if it was vintage, you know, we'd all be interested. So I went ahead and picked this one up. It's called The Secret Grave by Louis Ruby, and I'm guessing it's a book in a series, and this one is called Hauntings. Look at the spine. See up there it says Hauntings, Louis Ruby, and then The Secret Grave. I'm not gonna. There's no tagline on the front. I'm not gonna read the summary on back. This is pretty modern, but it looks good. It does, and so I went ahead and picked it up. This is from 2017. Then I picked up something all else that was similar, and this one is called The Lonely Ghost. And again, it's a middle grade book. Great looking cover. Great looking cover. Okay, a very, lovely young girl, looking in a mirror, and I don't know if that's her own reflection or if that's like this evil spirit like trying to come out of the mirror. But the tagline on the front reads, "All she wants is a new friend," and it's a vintage, like Victorian style wooden frame around the mirror. It's an oval shaped mirror. I mean, that just looks so compelling. And then look at the back of the book. Okay, you see this like giant Victorian home in the middle of the woods, and it says a haunting like no other. Now, again, I'm not going to read the summary on back, but it says that this is from 2022, and for those of us, in my age group, who grew up in the like 80s and 90s and early 2000s, who like the vintage horror stuff, the books that were sold at the Scholastic Book Fair when we were kids, this could have been one of those books. It just didn't come out when we were young. But this looks like something that we all would have dug back in the day if it would have been out back in the day. So now let me show you something that I found that is vintage young adult horror, or maybe it might be middle grade. I don't know. Okay, it's called Green Witch by Susan Cooper. And this is really old. This is from like 1974. But this version was printed, I guess, in 1990. But it's in pretty mint condition. Uh, some girl named Kathy wrote her name in it because, of course, she did. Why wouldn't she have? But it's in pretty mint condition, and I went ahead and just picked it up, but I'd never heard of it before. Then I picked up this, Apple paperback, and it's in pretty mint condition too. No one wrote their name in it. The pages have definitely yellowed, but it's in pretty good condition. And it's called The Slime That Ate Crestview, and it's by Jana and Malcolm. Jana or Yana. I've never known a Yana, but I have known a Jana, so we're gonna go with that. And let's see, what year is this? 1992. Okay, I don't remember ever seeing this at the store or the Scholastic Book Fair, or I didn't own it when I was a kid, but I really do enjoy picking up these vintage Apple paperbacks. And this is, I don't know if it's horror or not, but it looks like it's probably a horror adjacent, so I went ahead and picked that up. Then I picked up these books. These are called Ghost Horse, and I have parts 1 and 2. I don't know if there's any more than that, but here's part 1. It's got a blue cover, and then part 2, The Haunted Trail. This one has a purple cover, and it's literally about a ghost horse. And this is from 1996, so I went ahead and picked it up, and they're both in like pretty good condition. Then okay, so this one isn't a young adult or anything, but this is by Poppy Zebright, and it's called Wormwood. Now, I've never read any of Poppy Zebright's stuff. I used to own a paperback copy because that's all they ever printed it in. But of Lost Souls, which is, I guess, the this author's biggest selling book. I don't own that book anymore. I'm hoping to find it at a thrift store so I can actually read it, because I've never heard anything bad about it. I've only heard good things about it. But I found this at a thrift store. It's in like super good condition, and the font's like, fairly large, and everything looks pretty double spaced. So this is something that I should probably try to read. I should probably try to read something from this author. Then I found this Avon Flair book by Nicole Davidson called Crash Course. And it's got a great looking cover, a cabin in the woods, a secluded cabin in the woods with a full moon. And basically, so I read the back, and it's basically about this group of kids that goes out to this secluded cabin with a teacher, and there's prepping to study for their SATs. And then a kid dies, and then the teacher leaves and goes out for help and leaves 7 kids alone, and now they don't know whether or not the killer is among them. And that sounds like that's going to be a good book. This book, this copy is a little bit beat up, but it's not that bad. Some dude wrote his name in it because, of course, he did. Why wouldn't he have? But the spine is pretty healthy. The cover's not in too much danger of falling off. Spine is holding onto the pages fairly well. So this is one that I'd like to get around to reading soon. It sounds like a really good slasher. I found this book, and this just seems kind of cute. It's called The Music of Dolphins by Karen Hesse. And it says that this author has won a Newbery Medal. And let's see what year did this book come out. This came out in 1996, I guess, but this copy was printed in 2005. And it's called The Music of Dolphins, and you see this girl swimming with a dolphin. Look at that dolphin. All right, let me read the summary on back, and then you'll see why I picked it up. Mila becomes famous around the world when she is rescued from an unpopulated island off the coast of Florida. Years ago, Mila went missing from a boat crash, and she has been raised by dolphins from the age of 4. Researchers teach Mila language and music, but she also learns about rules and expectations, about locked doors and broken promises, disappointment and betrayal. The more Mila finds out about what it means to be human, the more she longs for her home in the ocean. And that just sounded really good. It sounded really cute. It's an Apple paperback. At this point, I mean, it's pretty much vintage. I mean, I think that vintage is considered anything 20 years old or older. And, I mean, it's 2024. I mean, this copy was from 2025. So next year, this is going to legally be considered vintage. But the text copyright was from 96. So it's definitely vintage. And so yeah, it's a vintage Apple paperback, and it just sounds really cool. I'd like to get around to reading this, and the font is huge, and it's not really that big of a book, so I could kill this in no time. All right, now let's get into all the other stuff. Okay, so I found this copy of the Adventures of the Bailey School Kids, and this one is a Bailey School Kids special. Mrs. Claus doesn't climb telephone poles. Now, I read a bunch of these when I was a kid. I think I read them up until like 8th grade, but that's just because I really, I thought it was a cute series. It was always fun. I liked the cast of characters. This would be a fun universe to live in. Then I picked up this copy of a Bruce Coville book, and this one is called The Book of Nightmares, Tales to Make You Scream. And this one has a tale by Mary Downing Hahn. And it's got a cool cover. There's a little boy, and he's lying in bed, and he's got both eyes open. He's too scared to fall asleep. And in the top bunk, there's the arm of a bug man reaching down. Now, that's kind of an eerie looking cover. Now, this book is kind of falling apart a little bit. The spine isn't that healthy, but it doesn't look like the pages are gonna die without putting up a fight. So I don't know. It's another Bruce Coville book. You know, it's something to have as part of the collection. I'll take it. All right. Uh, Let me show you this, okay? Because I don't I've seen Cameron Chaney's video on his Point Horror collection, or I've seen a bunch of his Point Horror collection video, and I don't remember seeing this one in his video. And it's just kind of rare for me to have something that he doesn't. But this one is called Anna to the Infinite Power by Mildred Ames. And the tagline on the front reads, "The people Anna sees not only look like Anna, they are Anna." Look at that cover. You see that girl, Anna, wearing a white hospital gown, and her reflection is bouncing off a bunch of other mirrors. And let's read the summary on back. She wasn't herself. Anna Zimmerman Hart had always been different from other people. She was considered practically a genius. Even for the 1990s, she never seemed to have much in common with her family. And she didn't have any friends. Anna didn't mind being different, though. She liked it that way. But Anna didn't realize how different she was. She didn't know she was being watched. She never suspected she was part of a grand master plan that would take away her whole identity, until she stepped out of her safe, protected world and met a stranger with her name, her face, and her mind. And let's see. What year did this come out? 1981. Okay, and this is in like mint condition. I found it at this like secret bookstore here in town. I mean, it's not that secret. You can Google it, but it's like really far away from, well, not that far away from where I live. Okay, it's pretty far from where I live. I'm within my city, and it was really hard to find it. And the Google Maps instructions like led me on a wild goose chase. But eventually, I found the bookstore. Never heard of it, and they didn't have much, but they did have this, and that was something that I found recently. And this did seem really cool. The girl on the cover, doesn't she look like a Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street? That was something that kind of stood out to me. All right. I I already have a copy of Locked in Time by Lois Duncan with an alternate cover. I guess I am cover chasing these Lois Duncan books, because if I ever find one, it's like, oh, I don't have that cover, I tend to pick it up. But this one's like, in pretty good condition, and, well, really healthy spine, very stiff spine. But here you go, Locked in Time by Lois Duncan. Then I found this copy of Stranger with My Face. And this is one of the books that I actually finished reading last year. And I will be doing a book review, or as I call it, a book report on my channel in the near future. I just need to kind of buckle down and put it out. But yeah, I found this, and I was really happy. I really enjoy finding these old copies of Lois Duncan books. I have another one. I have Killing Mr. Griffin. Some chick wrote her name inside the book because I probably shouldn't call her a chick, I'm sure. I mean, by now she's probably old, but, back then, she was probably too young for a guy my age to refer to as a chick, but whatever. I mean, that's just how I talk, okay? Um, it says that this one was from 1981, and this printing was from 1982. So I really enjoy finding these. Then I have another point horror book. I have Crazy for You by A. Bates. Now, this one is kind of hard to come by, and I think that this one might be a British printing. But I'm actually pretty happy to have this one. And this one's in super good condition. I ordered it online. I ordered it off of eBay. So that was cool. Um, Found another Lois Duncan book, Killing Mr. Griffin. Now, I already have a copy with a cover that's more like this one. It's like vintage. I think that the Killing Mr. Griffin one was from 1979, if I remember correctly. Let's see if this book will tell us. So one previous edition was from 98, and then this one was from 2005. Oh, okay. So this book was copyrighted in 78, so I was off by a year ahead. But yeah, so I have the 1978 version with the cover that looks a lot more like that. I would like to reread this book because I haven't read it since like 8th or ninth grade. But there is a made for TV movie. I think it was made for like NBC or ABC. And it had Mario Lopez, aka Slater from Saved by the Bell. And then Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Power Ranger. Okay, I remember when that movie came out, and then I ended up reading this book in like a 8th or ninth grade, and I would like to reread it. And then R.L. Stein has one too. I think it's called The Dare or something like that. So, speaking of R.L. Stein, I found this at a thrift store recently, and this is the Babysitter books 1 and 2 in one collection. And I found this random sheet of paper. Looks like some girl was doing a book report. That looks like a girl's handwriting to me, but so does my handwriting. Let's see. This was a compilation printing from 2003, and it's the Babysitter Parts 1 and 2, and I just picked it up because why not? Then I found 2 copies of Welcome to the Alien Inn. I found this one today, okay, and it's in really rough condition. Where's the other one? Yeah, I've never found a Bone Chillers book out in the wild, but within the last month, I found at the same thrift store 2 copies of this book, and I bought them both. I have them both, but this one that I picked up today is like in worse condition than the one that I bought last month. But this is book number 8 in the series, and it's called Welcome to the Alien Inn. And I bought it just for the heck of it. I'm never gonna read it. It doesn't sound like it's something that I'd find all that entertaining. But some of the other Bone Chillers books, yes. I remember in 3rd grade when the rest of us were reading Goosebumps, there was some kid that had a couple of Bone Chillers. But I never had any Bone Chillers. I did have Spine Tinglers and Spooksville, but I didn't have Bone Chillers. All right. So let me get show a bragging rights. Okay, I finally found it. I've been wanting to find this ever since I got back into collecting vintage young adult horror. Okay, I used to own this. I think I got this from the Scholastic Book Fair in fourth grade, and it's The House on Cherry Street, The Haunting, Book One. Okay, and I remember I even read it that year, but I don't remember it. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but I found it, and it's in decent condition. I had to remove the thrift store sticker, and of course that happened. But it's in pretty decent condition, and it's just like wow, man, wow. I remember picking it up from the Scholastic Book Fair, and I bet you, like, if I did start to reread this book, I bet you it'll come back to me, but I don't remember it. I just remember buying it, I remember owning it, and I think that either my mom or my little brother threw it out. I did find part three maybe a year ago, 6 months to a year ago, and then today I found part one, and I've been wanting to find this. I knew Cameron Chaney had it, and then when I saw it on his video, I was like, I used to have that one. I got it from the Scholastic Book Fair, and now I have it again, and I'm just like so happy. Like, this was the coolest find. Driving all the way to that part of town today to go like thrift shopping and look for books was totally worth it because I just got it today. All right, now I have a bunch of R.L. Stine books. I saved those for last. I usually do. So I found a Goosebumps Horrorland book, and my Horrorland collection is actually coming along. I did not intend to begin to collect that series. I just wanted to collect the vintage stuff that I grew up with, but uh, over the years, my Horrorland collection continues to grow, which is cool. And I get all these books from thrift stores, so I'm not like paying full retail, which is cool. And they're all in great condition. So I have this one. This one is called Who's Your Mummy? And then I have this one, Say Cheese and Die Screaming. And there's like a skeleton with a backwards hat. Okay, I want to read the Say Cheese and Die books and then read this and see if there's any Easter eggs because that would be dope. Okay, and then I found this special edition, and this one is called Weirdo Halloween. And then I found this one, and I think this was a later Goosebumps book, but this is a reprint. And this one is called Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls. Now, I never owned this one back in the day, and like I said, this is a reprint, but now I have it. I don't have the vintage copy, but I have this reprint, and so that's cool. I'm happy for that. Then I have a Goosebumps Slappy World, Escape from Shutter Mansion, and again, my Slappy World collection is growing all the time. Maybe I should do a Goosebumps collection video. Oh, here's another Horrorland one. This one is called Dr. Maniac versus Robbie Schwartz. I have this one too. Then I picked up this book. So if you watched my video from September, I think that was like the last time I did a book haul. I mentioned that in order to complete my Return to Fear Street series, all I needed was You May Now Kill the Bride. Well, I ended up picking it up from Barnes and Noble. They had it in stock. Here it is. And if you look at how this copy looks rough around the edges, this copy is actually in mint condition. R.L. Stine books just tend to, they tend to be paperback and they tend to get beaten up pretty bad over time. So they kind of print them and make them look relict, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, The only Fear Street series that I need to continue to collect is the Fear Street sagas. I only have a couple of those, and those are all like very expensive. Like the books that I don't have are like top dollar. But now I own this. You May Now Kill the Bride, and I otherwise have a super solid like well. I probably have one of the best Fear Street collections like out there, especially in this space, because even like Cameron Chaney, like, you know, he's got like, he's the biggest content creator in this corner of BookTube. And you look at his collection and, you know, he's got, you know, more than me. But his Fear Street collection wasn't complete when he made his videos. And I'm at a point where I've collected so much that I pretty much have all the Fear Street books. I'm just missing some in the Fear Street Sagas series, but I've got the Seniors series and I've got all these other series completed. I stand corrected. I was just talking that trash and I was wrong. My Ghosts of Fear Street books, I don't have all of those. But I found this one out in the wild and it's in mint condition, and this is Ghosts of Fear Street, Night of the Werecats. And so I think I might actually like to complete my Ghosts of Fear Street collection as well. I really think I should. But I found this like at a thrift store, and it's in mint condition, and it's not beat up. It's in mint condition. No one wrote their name in it. I found it at a thrift store. It's like, that's like just so cool. And then the last two books that I have to show you are, I found this one, A Night in Terror Tower, and the book is in pretty good condition. I mean, there's a, you know, a crease, you know, on this corner, and, you know, there's some fading going on in the cover, but, you know, the spine is, you know, pretty healthy and holding on to the pages really well. And this is, you know, a vintage copy. I have a reprint, so it was actually nice to find a vintage copy. So this could be my collector's copy, and then my mint condition reprint could be my reading copy. So that was cool. And then, oh, here's the other Welcome to the Alien Inn that I found. So this is the one that's all beat up, and this one's like in better condition. And it's just really weird that, you know, I find one out in the wild like a month ago. And then a month later at the same exact thrift store, I find the same Bone Chillers. I don't know, it's weird. But for the first time, I found a Graveyard School book. Now, this is another series that I did not grow up with. I didn't have these books. I don't remember seeing them at the Scholastic book fairs, maybe because they weren't printed by Scholastic. Again, I took the thrift store sticker off and a little bit of paint came off. I hate that. Oh, I hate that. But this one is book number 9 in the Graveyard School series, and it's called The Abominable Snowman by Tom B. Stone. Great pseudonym. Great pseudonym. And you know, so, I mean, this one's in kind of rough condition. I mean, I've seen worse, but, you know, this one's okay. This one's from the year 1995, by the way. But it is cool to finally have a Graveyard School book in my collection, and it was actually cool to find one out in the wild. But yeah, this video was like super, super long, so I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it up. But it was nice to do this again, and I, as long as this video was, I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you guys were excited about anything in specific that I had found. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Horns up and peace out.